Now, 2 people have died following the spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso. The deceased were attempting to salvage what was left of their destroyed farms. The National Disaster Management Organization Northern Region Coordinator Alhaji Abdullahi Slimboma confirmed to Joy News that the 2 drowned after trying to return from their farmlands using a canoe with harvested produce. The Bagre Dam was reaching its maximum level of 235 meters following continuous heavy rainfall. Managers of the Burkina Bay Dam are often compelled to spill more water from the dam, which swells the White and Black Volta rivers at the expense of lives and property of the poor riverside dwellers. Some of the risky areas are in the West Mamprosi, Savelugu Nanton, Kumbungu, Tolong Gonja North, Central Gonja, West Gonja districts in the northern region. Burkina Faso authorities spilled the dam after informing Ghanaian authorities of the ritual. Several acres of land, or farmland really, were submerged in the process. Despite warnings from NADMO, some locals refused to relocate to highland areas. Right, so what's being done currently to protect lives and properties within some of these areas? Mind you, the farmlands are not just farmlands, they are people's livelihoods. But before we get into that conversation, let's get more on these 2 persons who drowned from our Northern Regional Correspondent, Hashmin Mohammed, who's joined me over the telephone. Hashmin, I think we lost Hashmin there, but in a bit, well, I understand I have the Northern Regional Coordinator of NADMO over the telephone, Alhaji Abdullahi Slimboma. You're welcome to the program, Alhaji.
Thank you.
Alhaji, how did this happen?
We are all aware of this, the spillage of Bagre Dam, which comes every year, and which comes around August, September, to this August, August, September, October. And before the dam is being spilled, we have information, we have adequate information, so we have adequate sensitization to the rural areas or to lowland areas where it has been affected as flood-prone areas. We always sensitize them. So moving from lowland to upland, people feel like that is their livelihood place. And,
I see. And so, Alhaji, when you say you sensitize these people, what does that mean?
To educate them, let them know the danger ahead of them, what is coming on. There will be a spirit, and every time they are going to spill, they will let us know. It doesn't take us unaware. So the same thing to those living around the platform area.
I see.
We let them know that this is what is going to happen.
I see. Okay, so then they were aware that this was going to be happening. But
they
like,
are aware. And those who farm on river valleys and other things, who goes for their harvesting, and now that the boat capsized and we have lost 2 lives. They should desist from doing that. We are telling them.
We'll get to what they must do, but let's get into what NADMO is to be doing for these people. And so, yes, you have sensitized them. Alhaji, let me land. We'll get into what you are doing on the field. Let's talk about these 2 people who have died because they went to their farms to salvage what they could get from it. Now, you have sensitized them that indeed the Bagre Dam was going to spill some water.
We should continue sensitizing them, let them know that they should stop the harvesting.
Alhaji, if you could give me a listening ear, I'm sure we'll have a brilliant conversation. Now, what I'm saying is that you have sensitized them, yes, but that is their livelihood that will be submerged in this water. A livelihood NADMO did not provide an alternative for. You didn't expect them to go to their farms, even in the face of the danger, to try and get themselves some food to eat.
Hello.
Alhaji.
Hello.
What alternatives?
I'm having problems for lunch.
Okay, let's try again.
You hear me?
I hear you perfectly. Let's try again. Let's try again. What alternatives did NADMO present to these people whose livelihoods were going to be taken away because of the spillage from the Bagre Dam?
There's adequate preparation towards it.
What did you provide? Alhaji, you're not getting my question. What did you provide for these people so that the 2 people who died, that death could have been averted? It means that they wouldn't have gone back to their farms. Alhaji, are you even listening?
See, the network, I'm on program. You hear me?
If you can turn down the volume of the radio set, I'm sure you would hear me very well.
You know, we are moving with the vehicle. I have stopped to listen to this conversation.
And I am so grateful you're doing that. But here's the question. I am asking what alternatives NADMO, as a disaster management organization, provided for these people whose farmlands and their livelihoods at that will be taken away because of the spillage of the Bagre Dam.
We are sending our reports to the national. And the national will also come up with what they have and get us the adequate
But Alhaji, these 2 lives that were lost, in all honesty, I'm sure could have been averted if alternatives and adequate preparation was made for the community where these 2 people come from, because then you were taking their livelihoods from them by the spillage of this dam. We didn't do that. Why? Alhaji, it looks like Alhaji has decided to pay attention to something else, and it's a shame that this is happening at this point when we want to know what could happen to the many more lives along the Bagre Dam. But Alhaji, if you can hear me, we'll try again. I don't mind. Alhaji. Well, as we would have it, that is what happens. And if you're living along the Bagre, if you live along the spillage line right now, I can't imagine what's going through your mind. You can share your thoughts with me if your farmland or anything has been is going to be submerged. I'd love to know what's going on. But why would we want to get to this point always? Bagre Dam is not exactly news to the people of Ghana, because we know annually this dam spills over. Really. And we have to wait for people to die because of this. Mohammed Hashmin is our Northern Regional Correspondent. He's joined to the conversation. You're welcome to the program, Hashmin.
Well, thank you very much, Emily.
Hashmin, tell us about these people. Let's start off with the deceased.
Come again, Emily.
Let's talk about the deaths recorded as a result of the spillage.
Well, like the Northern Regional Coordinator confirmed to you, they die as a result of the flood water that has spilled over as a result of the spillage of the Bagre.
Have these people, have they been identified?
Well, it is difficult now to get information because where they die, the community they die, it is at the outskirts of the West Mamprose district, very far away, about 45 meters drive from the district capital, Wale Wale, to that community. Now, we have made efforts to get into the community, and the difficulty is that there's no good network in that community. So even if you place a call to that community, it disrupts the communication. So it is extremely difficult here. And we are trying to get to the community, and then we can be able to gather more information about the situation. But what I do know for a fact is that this village of the Bagre Dam is an annual affair. It's like a ritual. Each and every year, there are deaths. There are residents who will have their farmlands destroyed. It is also affecting children education, the health of people living there.
How bad is? Give us a description of this year's village so far. How bad is it?
now let's take a district like the Kumbungu district. Now, if you take a community like Kuli, Singer, and then there are about 5 other farming communities in that district that has been cut off by the white voter. And then these farming communities, anytime the rains get serious, and then the Bagre Dam, the spilled over from the Bagre Dam, worsen the plight of the residents living there. Now, at this time, a lot of residents who live in those communities cannot cross over the white border to Kumbungu town to access health care. And then there are major health facilities in that district is the King Medical Center. Now, at this time, the other time when I visited, exactly the last year from now, when I visited there and I interacted with some of the residents, some of them told me that at this time, because they cannot cross over to the district capital to be able to access healthcare and then do other economic activities, sometimes if someone falls sick, what they do is that they resort into herbs. And then if the herbs is not helping in the health condition of that particular person, they look unconcerned and then allow that person to die because they have no alternative.
So usually,
because in terms of education, the difficulty is that at this time many teachers do not want to go to that community because it is extremely dangerous, crossing the river to the communities to be able to go to their various schools to teach. So it can take for more than 2-3 months before maybe a teacher can be able to go there. So even if you visit there, you are going to have children maybe sending to their own because they will not be teaching, unless there is a teacher who lives in that community, and many of these teachers are people teachers.
So usually, how do those residents along, or those who have their properties, those within the affected communities, prepare for the spillage?
Well, each and every year, information do come early enough, maybe from NADMO or from NADMO, informing the residents that they have to leave those communities. And then the difficulty is that if they leave those communities, where they will settle is the difficulty, because these are people who have all their belongings in those farming communities. And then one reason why some of them settle there is just for agricultural purposes. And it appears NADMO themselves are not ready in terms of taking care of maybe some of in terms of taking care of those displaced residents anytime such an incident do happen. So that has always been the difficulty.
I see. So then these people very much are aware of the fact that the spillage could be dangerous. Why do they still prefer to go to their farmlands?
Well, like I told you, a lot of them, they settle there because of agricultural purposes. And then that is the community some of them have been living for many years. So they feel very comfortable living in those communities. And then even some of them, if you visit those communities, they are the most deprived communities within the northern sector, because these are communities that do not have electricity. These are communities that have difficulties in accessing electricity and then healthcare facilities. But it is just difficult to understand why maybe they will be willing to stay there. But if you talk to them, they tell you for agricultural purposes, because lands there are very, very fertile.
I see. Hashmin, we'll leave that conversation here for now. Thank you very much. Hashmin Mohammed joined us from the northern region. Again, I'm going to say that it's a shame that the Northern Regional Coordinator left this conversation for something else. He was still over the telephone, but won't respond to any of the questions. But here's what we'll